really well supported in the last few minutes, down to 2:30. So thanks, Marto. Welcome to the coverage here on the Kenzo. Once again, dry conditions in Sydney. And the Penno a fraction under the 5 reading this morning. Sweet Treats goes into line. And Better Being Single. She's the last to go into line here for the first of 7 on the Kenzo track. Gaze Artist, the odds-on favourite, out to $1.90. There's the light, ready to go. Racing now, and Better Being Single really anticipated the start well and races to the lead from Gaze Artist. Going to third is Petatawa there in the white cap in front of Hell's Vixen. Further back to Astride, and Sweet Treat settles back last of all. Better Being Single is really the life of the party early. Leads out by 2 lengths to the odds-on favourite Gaze Artist. And already these 2 fillies are dominant leaders. They've absolutely gapped the remainder. Hell's Vixen third, and a gap further back to Petatawa. Better Being Single now to the fence, leads around the turn. Gaze Artist being stoked up on the outside and giving chase now. It's Better Being Single being challenged here by Trapeze Artist Little Sister. That being Gaze Artist. She's almost there. Better Being Single still in front though. Hello, Gaze Artist is racing a bit greenly now. Better Being Single still a half in front. Kicking hard. Better Being Single from Gaze Artist, who's driving again right at the end. Oh, close. What a rib tickler to start the card. Gaze Artist diving there at Better Being Single. There's very little in it. Petatawa's run the third, followed by Astride, Hell's Vixen and Sweet Treat. Stand by.
Oh, stand by, all right. That is as close as it gets. Just as it looked like Better Being Single would be the one to stave them all off. It's that well-bred Gaze Artist that's just put the bobbin on the line. And, yeah, Darren just yelling over the top of my head. Geez, that's close. She's put a bobbin at the right time, and that's exactly what's happened. We're having a look at the low angle here. Better Being Single on the inside. You've got Gaze Artist on the outside. And as they hit the line, the 3 puts the beak down. It can be a touch misleading, that low angle, but it will win. Gaze Artist number 3. Gerald Ryan and Sterling Alexiou, or that run of outs that he touched on with 2-year-olds off the back of 1 trial. Suddenly that's been broken and they get a winner there. Brad, considering it's fair to say she has a fair bit left in the locker off the back of that pre-race interview that we had, this could be a horse with a bit of promise. In fact, the top 2 worth following.
Yeah, she was green, wasn't she, down the straight? You went through a whole range of emotions if you had something on Gaze Artist and took the price on the drift, $1.90 on the totes, and I think that was a bit better than that around. So halfway down the straight you thought, yep, well, she's levelled up and she's going to go straight past. Then she got a little bit lost, a little bit green, didn't really know what she was doing. And to her credit, she was coming again through the line under the urgings there of Tyler Schiller. So a winning debut. They look to be running along out in front. Be interesting to see what the overall time there is. I'm sure it'll be up on the screen shortly for you to let us know there, Ben. But the second horse trotters, there was a little brush on the line. Whether that was past the post, I don't know. We'll leave that for the stewards to work out. Maybe it was a little bit too close to be detrimental to the result. And the eye catcher from the tail of the field was Petatawa. Was probably set up for the closers, but she was doing her best late, and there were big gaps back through the field. So a nice debut for her as well, charging home into third. So a little bit too good at the finish, but we still might hear a little bit more just yet.
Okay, so the initial time that's been popped up there, Brad, is 57.80, which is a couple of seconds outside of the class record. We'll double check that, 34.3 for the last 6, but I do have Gerald Ryan with me, who I'm sure is very happy. Now, Gerald, when anybody asks when was the last 2-year-old that you had win off the back of 1 800-metre trial, you can answer Gaze Artist.
Oh, no, I can say that now, yeah.
It might be a good sign, because obviously there's a fair bit of development left here.
Oh, there is, you know. Like she had one little jump out back in July, and she had that trial. The next time she ran out of the gates was at Hawkesbury 10 days ago. So she's done a terrific job. Like, they ran along a bit there in front, and they kept it going. She showed a lot of fight. A little bit green in the straight, but she'll improve off it. She could after your first start, they don't improve, you scratch your head, but she's going good. And what I liked about it, you know, she took the trail and she showed a lot of fight. And I know it's only 1,000 metres, but it gave me the idea that she'd get 1,200 pretty easy.
Speaking of fight, Gay and Bert Vieira, they've been amazing owners for you over the course of the years. They've owned some good ones, including some relations to this girl. Nice to see a horse named Gaze Artist going around.
Yeah, Bert does a good job. It's not the easiest, but he does a terrific job, and he loves his filly. And when we first saw her, at Widden, well, there's a list of 2-year-olds he was keeping, and I said, well, it's not even going on the list because I know where it's going, and she'll improve. She's a nice filly.
Well done.
Thanks.
And by the sounds of things, heading towards the Golden Gift, Shani, over to you with Tyler Schiller.
Yeah, Tyler was aboard her at her only trial at Hawkesbury. What did you think when you got off her out at Hawkesbury that day?
It was a great trial. She didn't feel like she went any speed the last 600. She ran pretty sharp, and when I hopped off her, I was surprised when I looked at the screen and she ran home in 32.7. But today, she had to go that extra distance, had to be brave, sitting off the other horse, and was good enough to run her down on the line.
Halfway up the straight, you looked like you were going to go straight past, and then Tim's horse gave you a little bit of a kick, but she just, very green, but she still managed to get the head down.
Yeah, very green, but as I said, just pretty tough. That arrogance of the Snitzel kicked in late, and she just bobbed at the right time, which I was very happy with.
Well done.
Thank you.
Betty Lane was as well. Righto, big backing for Sly Boots. Stablemate at Vanquished. It's out to 225 now. 10 minutes ago it was 170. Light on, stand by for a start. Waiting for the all clear. They're almost about to release the gates there, and there's a last second hold it. Stand by. Now they're off and racing. Good level line out. Vanquish jumped well with Cheergull on the inside, but Janny being revved up trying to go forward. Stand aside out deep from Taipan Legend. D-Buzz taken back. And the well-supported Sly Boots will see them all. Vanquish led into the first turn from the stablemate Stand Aside and Neck Away. Followed by firing up on the outside is Taipan Legend from Cheergull. Pajani 2 lengths away, travelling strongly back in the field from D-Buzz, and Sly Boots starting to improve a bit. Inside the 800 metres, Vanquished a half in front to Stand Aside. 2 lengths away then to Cheergal. Taipan Legend looks to be travelling a bit sweeter now. 2 off then to Pajani, further back to D-Buzz. This well-supported Sly Boots has got plenty of work to do. It's still back last, about 6 off the lead. So Vanquished leads around the corner from Stand Aside. He just laid out a fraction. Taipan Legend given a rev up coming down the middle part of the track. Vanquished at the 300 led the way by 2 on Taipan Legend. Sly Boots coming from last is making good ground down the outside, giving chase to the stablemate. Vanquished in front of Sly Boots, lengthening the outside. Cheergal going between them. Sly Boots and Cheergal got to the favourite. It's Sly Boots with a head in front, and Sly Boots lands good bet. Sly Boots got up to win it there from Cheergal, and Vanquished weakened into third, as the market suggested it may do. Then came Stand Aside from Pajati, and a gap back to Taipan Legend and D-Buzz.
Market had that absolutely spot on. We've got one horse that was, $1.70 out to $2.35 in the last 5 minutes, and Sly Boots has gone 6 into $3.60. The stablemate sat back off a decent enough speed and has launched an almighty run down the outside. There were some good runs. Geez, Cheergal's run well above its SP there. $51 it's closed and gave a fair sight. In fact, it's only gone down, a half length or so. The 6th, the drifting favourite, Vanquished, was up on speed, and to my eye looked to get near on every chance, and the 4 Stand Aside, second up from a break, has run in for 4th. But geez, they've landed a plonk there, Bradley.
Didn't they? $3.60 on the tote and $3.60 on the NOP. So the money was spot on. The concern coming in today was whether he's going to hit a bit of a flat spot, and he did, but it didn't matter. You saw there turning for home, he was in a world of trouble out the back under pressure, but to his credit, he just kept picking up, and you knew you're on trouble when you saw him right down the outside of your back, Vanquished out in front. Who just got the wobbles there late. He'll strip fitter for that, first up 1,300 metres, but Sly Boots had too much firepower late. So Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott first, third and fourth, and separating them was Cheergal, who gave away race experience and almost landed an upset there at $51. So she's a nice galloper going forward, given she can only improve off that, giving away that race fitness. But I think it's a race that will produce plenty of winners going forward, but the winner hard to deny him. Gave them all a start and rounded them up right down the outside.
Yeah, it was one of the first up horses, but not the one that our traders maybe expected post-race. Oh, that was a nice win first up.
Yeah, it really was. Came from a difficult position. Didn't think they necessarily went hard in front, so it's made the task even a little bit more difficult. And for a horse that's going to get over further, no doubt some very encouraging signs there.
What did you make of the beaten brigade, your two?
Thought they were very encouraging. Vanquish, no doubt, will improve a lot off that. He's another horse that's only going to improve, I think, as he can get over further. Stand aside, he's still a little bit of a work in progress. No doubt the talent's there. I was hoping he might have been able to stick on a little bit better for the run that he had.
Just a quick one as they make their way back. On Saturday, we saw a similar market flip, the 300 and Shangri-La Express. Were you surprised when you saw the market first go up? I get the impression from the stable that Shangri-La Express has got something a little bit special.
Yeah, look, no doubt on Saturday, I think with those unexposed 2-year-olds, I think when you ever see anything sort of start that short in the market, there's always going to be some form of drift with everyone sort of looking for a bit of value. So very, very hard to sort of take that sort of price to the race when nothing's had a start before.
Yeah, certainly is. All right, well done to you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much to Adrian Bott. We've got Regan Bayliss coming back after picking up a win and picking up 3 points in the Jockey Challenge at the same time. 3, 7, 6 and 4, 115.8 the race time. The last 600 in 34.67. The margins 3/4 of a length in the end. 3/4 of a length by 3/4 there, Shani.
Indeed. Well, Riggs only had the one ride, one win. That's what you want to come here for. Did you expect to find yourself back there?
Just wanted to ride him sort of where he was comfortable today. We think he's a horse that once you get up over a mile 2,000, that's when he's going to really hit his strap. So didn't matter where I was, just wanted him nice and comfortable. He got into a great rhythm and showed a really good turn of foot today.
Wasn't a surprise that he showed that good turn of foot?
No, he was a colt last preparation. He was a little bit doughy. That operation did the world of good for him, and come back a lot more switched on, a lot more focus, and nice horse in the making.
And how about the blinkers coming off that didn't matter?
A little bit green up the straight, but he's only had a couple starts, so he'll keep improving sort of with racing as he gets out to a more suitable trip.
Well done, Reg.
Thank you.
And 70 cents. And it holds a significant more amount of money compared to Golden Passport, who is the next best backed runner, and third most is on Chateau Park. But there's a fair bit riding on Spaycaster here with those punters that snapped up the early price. It's the best supported. Here's Darren.
And the lights on. We're all set now. Spaycaster's off the map here. Clear-cut favourite. Gates are back. Racing. Spaycaster taken back a fraction there from the widest draw. And Father's Day came out running. Father's Day is going to lead comfortably. Golden Passport lands a clear second. Is falling down the third. Then Classic Deal. They put a bit of a gap in the rest early. Casual Connection, Karma Zone, Shadow Park, and the heavily backed Spaycaster is going to settle last of all. So Father's Day ensures the pace is good here in the hands of Rachel King, a 5-length leader. Golden Passport lets it go, not doing any chasing. Is falling down, goes to a clear third. Then came Classic Deal on the rails from Casual Connection the outside, and the last three, Shadow Park on the fence from Spaycaster and Karma Zone in a 3-wide position, just being snagged back a bit to settle clearly at the rear of the field. So it's Father's Day. A long leader going inside the mile mark by 3 lengths and is falling down to a clear second now. Golden Passport ridden with restraint there in the third. About 3 lengths to Casual Connection. Classic Deal slipping back in the field. Then came Spaycaster from Shadow Park, and Karma Zone is still the last one. So Father's Day, a dominant leader down the back. Nothing's going to bother him. And Father's Day, 5 in front now to his falling down. 3 lengths away to Golden Passport. About 4 then to Casual Connection. From Classic Deal, Spaycaster certainly getting the tempo to suit. So Shadow Park. And last of all is Karma Zone. and so they lead the back straight now. And Father's Day has ensured a very good gallop, goes inside the 1,000 metres, still well clear from his falling down. A gap to Golden Passport, another gap to Casual Connection, then Classic Deal from Spaycaster has been really heavily back to win this today. It's still third last from Karma Zone, and Shadow Park sees them all. They've got 600 metres to run. Father's Day showing no signs of stopping at the moment, is 3 in front to his falling down, 2 after Golden Passport. Casual Connection being roused along, Classic Deal being roused along, and so's the heavily back Spaycaster, who's 10 off the lead as they turn. And Father's Day still with a fairly sizable lead here, about 3 in front to his falling down. Then came Golden Passport. Down the outside is Spaycaster and Classic Deal up the fence. Shadow Park in a bit of bother again. Father's Day's running a terrific race here. 3 lengths away to Spaycaster, who's trying to get out of jail. Father's Day still in front, a good leader. And Father's Day, Rachel King, there you go, right of the day. Father's Day bolted in, really, from Spaycaster and Classic Deal. He's falling down 4th. Shadow Park didn't really close off. Casual Connection battled a long way out. Golden Passport, that expired a long way out as well. And Karma Zone was last in.
4, 3, 8 and 5. Darren's given away Ride of the Day honours very early, but fair enough too. Rachel King has absolutely stolen that. Father's Day at a big price, close $26.70 on the local tote. And you can understand why, as run 9 of 11, beaten comfortably last time out against a lot of these horses. Casual Connection took out that race that day, was beaten some 5.7 and led and just didn't find too much. Today, on what is always going to be a pretty fast Kenzo track here, Father's Day has just left them all behind. Maybe just needed that additional fitness too. That was first time at the 2400 last start, whereas this time managed to break a 405-day drought. Father's Day beats Spaycaster, who was good from the back, and Classic Deal in for third. Brad?
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've seen the best of Father's Day, but an aggressive ride today. Probably wasn't given the due respect that he deserved there out in front. Maybe the jockeys thought they were just going to chase down Father's Day, but he gave a kick and he just simply was grinding his rivals into the ground, and the rest of them try as they might, couldn't reel in the margin. So a well-executed tactical ride there from Rachel King, hugging the fence. You can see there on the head-on, bumped into the fence a couple of times there, but was too good at the finish. Spycaster chase as he might. It was all in vain. Classic Deal, good to see her bounce back from last start. Chateau Park looked to have his chance, didn't he, at least to finish closer, but he went very one pace there in the straight. But 4, 3, 8 and 5, and a big result if you found Father's Day.
Absolutely, and they've sizzled the track there, 2:28.12, so just too fast for the rest of them. Nice win.
Yeah, it was great. It's great to see him get back to some of his old form. He's been very up and down for his last few, and great to see him get back there today.
What do you put that down to?
Well, big thank you to the owners for being patient, because it's been a rough road with him his last few starts, but probably a big thank to Rach too. She came in on Friday and she put him over the jumps, and she put him over the jumps again yesterday, and she just might have been able to spark a bit of life with him. She put the idea to Björn and he went with it, and yeah, glad to see it sort of repaid them both.
Amazing how often that just generates the enthusiasm again for some of these stayers going over the jumps, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. He's always had the ability. He looked very promising early on, and he just hasn't been able to get back there, and he got the life back there today, and he got conditions to suit out in front and got the job done.
Well done to you.
Great, thanks Ben.
I guess if you are going to wait 404 days, Shani, at least you're going to get $26, $27 about a horse.
Yeah, exactly. I wish I knew Rach went and jumped him out, but jumped him over some jumps. For some reason, it just really switches them on, doesn't it?
Yeah, like he just got to the stage where he was just, life was the same. He went out every day, did the same thing, went to the races, did the same thing, and he was just getting in a habit of just not giving everything up the straight. And first time I took him out there and jumped him, he was a bit similar. He didn't really care. He just trotted through most of them rather than over them. And then I took him again yesterday, and he really switched on and sort of had a bit of life about him and was on his toes. And he was like that pre-race today. So it was a risk, but it worked.
Did you have a game plan? You just wanted to send him out of those gates and just let him bowl along and make him do something?
Yeah, look, I don't really think it's probably the best way to ride him, and I don't think he's the type of horse that you have to lead by that far necessarily, but he did ping out, and last thing I wanted to do was disappoint him. But he's still got his quirks. He hung in the whole way up the straight, and then when I hit the post, he ran out. Like, he's just still a child, but it's nice to see him get his head back in front.
Going forward now, that'll give him a bit of confidence, you'd think?
I hope so, yeah. Look, he's got a lot of ability. It's just getting it right in his head.
Well done, Rach.
Thank you.
particular out to 380 with Tab 360. Has been backing for numerous runners, but in particular Fairway Star into 390. The 7 C's into $6. Yankee Hustle. This is a big go late. They basically want anything but the favourite. Molly Nails moves in to complete the lineup for the first leg of the main quaddie. Race 4 here at Kensington. There's the light. Stand by. Racing. And La Patrice jump well. Sweet Baby Boom's going to accelerate and race to the early lead. The favourite gets about a length in front. Here's one of numerous plunge horses. Fairway Star up attacking early. They're followed then by Oh Golly Gosh, third on the outside of La Patrice. A couple of lengths further back then to Yankee Hustle on the outside of the 7 C's. Further back to Molly Nels from Galaxy Bell. And dropping right back to last there is Hide Your Heart. So it's Sweet Baby Boom, a massive drifter in the market. Sweet Baby Boom led by a half to Fairway Star. Oh Golly Gosh is back behind them with coverage. Yankee Hustle is rather firing up. Charges forward in a 3-wide position, goes to third. Then came La Patrice. And Oh Golly Gosh back to fifth now, followed by the 7 C's, Molly Nails, Galaxy Bell and Hide Your Heart last. They've got 500 to go. Sweet Baby Boom in front by half to Fairway Star. Yankee Hustle stoked up, has made mistakes in the run. Then La Patrice, Oh Golly Gosh locked up behind them, and then came Molly Nails. Righto, moving to the lead now, Fairway Star gets a neck up here on Sweet Baby Boom, trying to fight back. Molly Nails, Hide Your Heart swooping right down the outside. Hide Your Heart from a mile back, moved up to Fairway Star, the 7 C's, and Hide Your Heart from well back has bloused them right away. The 7 C's second, Photo third, Molly Nails and Sweet Baby Boom. Fairway Star just missed a place. Further back then to Yankee Hustle from La Patrice, Oh Golly Gosh and Galaxy Bell.
A few forgives throughout the course of the race, but it's number 6 who makes it a hat-trick of victories. Hide Your Heart for Nathan Doyle and Molly Burke claiming 3 here. A big moment for her, claiming a victory at the midweeks. That's career victory number 5 for Hide Your Heart. Third up from a break today, and geez, what a preparation it has been thus far. I'm pretty sure the 4, the 7 C's will just stick the beak down in time to claim second, and it looked like a 3-horse Photo for third, so I'll stay out of that for the time being, Brad, but no doubt about the winner, Hide Your Heart.
Yeah, busy finish, came with a rush right down the outside under the urgings of Molly Burke, and that's a fair running double there for Derby Racing. Father's Day $26, and then a similar price there for Hide Your Heart. So Nathan Doyle, typical of the stable, beautifully placed. They only recently acquired this mare, and he's done a fantastic job. That's now 3 on the bounce, Scone, Newcastle, and now the midweek. So where's it end? I don't know, but she's clearly racing in great heart at the moment. She balances up. She's been given time to hit the line, and she has delivered. So a big win there, albeit, as I say, a bit of a busy finish. Those leaders look to have their chance. Fairway Star did loom as the winner, and just a couple down the outside were a little bit too strong at the finish. The 7 C's continues to race well. So a race we'll have to dissect and spend a bit of time pulling it apart, but the winner gave them a start and a beating.
Absolutely, this 5-year-old daughter of Sebring in the hands of this man, Nathan Doyle. Congratulations to you. A very commanding win down the outside.
Yeah, what's wrong with winning form? She'd been too good. Her 2 runs back this preparation, she defied the odds both occasions then, and she got in well with Molly's claim, and she rounded him in quite quickly. So I think we might just leave her to that 1400 speed on, let her balance up and get into a rhythm and get over the top of them.
Well, to that point, it is a decent jump up from Scone to Newcastle. Now we're here at the midweeks, and this is a horse that got over, 2100 last preparation. So clearly there's been a rethink. Stick around the 1400 to the mile, and geez, now that you've won like that at the midweeks, what's the plan?
I suppose she's in at the right time of the year now to be coming sort of post-carnival, be able to continue to take her through the grades, but she's a very happy horse. She's in the right frame of mind, and she's winning, so we can't complain. And well done to the Derby owners as well.
Rest of the team seems to be going well as well.
Yeah, we're ticking along nicely. We're starting to get some good support, and we've got some good staff at home that are getting these results, so we can't complain.
Quick thoughts on Molly?
It was brilliant, right? I just said let her balance up, don't panic, don't worry at any stage of the race, and just get her to the outside, and she should finish strongly. So she's done everything asked of her.
Well done.
Thank you.
All right, Shani, we'll get over to you. Molly hasn't had to do this too many times in the city. I saw she almost walked past you then, but had to return to the scale.
Yeah, this is her second city winner, Molly. Well done. You're happy to bite your time back there, and she circled them, and gee, she ate them up quickly.
Yeah, definitely. Watching her replays, that's just how she loves to run. And I was a bit worried when I was so far back. She was so relaxed, but once I give her a gig, she was very happy to pick up, and God, she hit the line strong.
She did. Were you ever confident in the run?
Definitely. When I hit the 600 and they started pulling me into the race, she gave me a really good feel, and I thought if I can get clear running here, she's really going to let down.
How's Sydney life going for you? Are you enjoying it up here?
Yeah, very much. I'm loving it up here at the moment.
Good on you, Molly.
Thank you.
Those two early on, and they're by far and away the two most popular runners. Yeti Moves holds about 1.5 times more than Lyrical Gangster, who is the second most popular runner. I can tell you Dead of Night's the third most popular. Worst way is Phillipsburg. Despite being a $16 chance, he's been well found. Here's Darren.
To third up this preparation is sliding into the outside draw. Light is on. We're all set. Ready now in the fifth race of the day. They're off. Yeti Moves, barrier one, jumped okay. Verbeck was nicely into stride together with Dead at Night looking for the lead. Dead at Night just there from Knight's Armour, Verbeck, Methuselah. Yeti Moves will settle fifth now on the inside of Condra, and then came Naval Warfare going around the field, although it might go back now. It's caught pretty deep from Brenner. Phillipsburg tucks down on the fence. Lyrical Gangster drew the outside gates, a conspicuous last. At Dead at Night, the colt leads down the back, a half on Verbeck. Knight's Armour over racing in third. 2 lengths away to Methuselah, a half then the outside to Condra. Naval Warfare is cast 3 deep. Yeti's Moves down on the rails. Then came Brenner from Phillipsburg, and still 4 lengths away to Lyrical Gangster has been really back to win the race. So they're about to lead the back now. Hieronymus has a good grip on the front runner, Dead of Night, and the 3-year-old is shooting for 3 in a row. Led out by a length to Verbeck. Methuselah third, Knight's Armour still overdoing things a little bit there in fourth. A length into Yeti Moves from Condra. Naval Warfare, the 10-year-old, is in immense pain a long way out. Then came Phillipsburg from Brenner, and Lyrical Gangster is gradually tacking on last of all. So it's Dead at Night approaching the corner. 600 metres out, a half in front to Verbeck, followed by Methuselah, Knight's Armour, Condra, trying to get into it now, followed by Yeti Moves on the rails, and 2 for the back to Phillipsburg. Around the turn, Dead of Night just in front of Verbeck, Methuselah Peels. Knight's Armour now, Condra coming right down the outside. Yeti Moves looking for room behind them. Phillipsburg as well. Condra wide out, moved up to Methuselah. The 3-year-old Methuselah with a bit of a kick here from Condra. Yeti Moves gets the run on the far side. Might be running out of ground though. Methuselah in front, 50 out, and Methuselah's going to win it. Methuselah by a length and a half. Condra is second, just in front of Yeti Moves. Then came Brenner, winding up at the end, Lyrical Gangster. Further back to Knight's Armour, Phillipsburg getting tired there was the leader, Dead at Night, and further back to Naval Warfare, and along last was Verbeck.
Methuselah had a couple of fans, $9 into $7 late on the NOP. Picks up a second victory this preparation with Chris Waller and Karen McAvoy. The 7 has run a good race. Up on the outside there, Condrieu, the 5 in for third, Yet He Moves, was held up at a pivotal stage as the others were steaming into the race. They'd tracked up behind the leader who was taking them absolutely nowhere, Dead of Night. And in there had to check off heels, maybe 3-4 horses off, slid back to the inside underneath Methuselah to launch that run. But by that point, they've given up a length and a half advantage, and it was hard to close off from there on in. Brenner's running for fourth, numbers in the fifth, 10, 7, 5 and 11. Brad?
Yeah, 3-year-old that we thought a bit of as a 2-year-old, maybe just lost his way a touch. We thought, where does he fit in? Well, maybe he's just always been looking for a journey all the way through. So the Autumn Sun pedigree's kicked in there, 1,800 metres, and he relished it. He was really strong through the line. Just when you thought the Condrieu was going to go straight past him, he was in for the fight and was pretty dominant at the finish. Yet he moved, stuck to his task well. That should top off Brimmer perfectly now. Fourth up, a couple of runs under his belt. Not sure what to make of the run of Lyrical Gangster. He couldn't keep up in the middle stages, but he was really thundering to the line. So maybe he's looking for further again. He's a work in progress, but there is some talent there. But Martusalam, the same can be said for him, but he's delivered today for his followers.
Yeah, there were a few there with excuses. And Knight's Armour was one that was just over racing there, just off the speed, but you can't take anything away from Methuselah. A bit too good for them. Well done, Damien. That was a nice win, and a colt, I should say, of the Autumn Sun. Nice to see him having winners here over a decent trip too.
Yeah, it is. Look, he's got a beautiful pedigree. He's half sister won the Oaks, Canedna. So, look, he's a horse that's going to continue to improve once he gets up over trip, and it was great to see him bounce back off a bit of a plain run last start. So that'll give him a lot of confidence, and was aided by a great ride.
Yeah, by Karen McAvoy. At about the 150, it looked as though a few others were launching a run, but that staying pedigree, it kind of kicked in late. He was really strong the last 100.
Yeah, it was. The stablemate snuck up his inside, and he seemed to find another gear. So be interesting to see what Karen says, but it's great for the owners of this horse, and look, he's a horse on the up.
First and third for the stable. Pretty good work. Well done.
Thank you.
Righto, the Waller team pick up another winner in town with number 10, Methuselah. The race time was 1:49.39 for those wondering, which is a couple of seconds outside the record. The last 6:34.61. The margin's 1 1/4 by a head. A couple of runs in there as Karen just unsaddles. A couple of runs in there like our leader. Maybe a touch disappointing Dead of Night, but didn't look to be setting breakneck speed up in front and has just faded out of it. That made things a little bit tough for the favourite, Yet He Moves. You can see I don't know whether you guys are having a look at Karen or having a look at the race replay, but when you do get a chance to have a look at the replay, they tracked up behind perfectly, looked for a split, and it just wasn't there. And by the time they found that gap, Methuselah was off and gone. Shani, with this guy on board.
Indeed, yeah. So he's recorded his second win here at start number 7, and he really appreciated stepping up to the 1,800 today. So Karen just making it all official. I'm not sure if you've had much to do with this fella previously, have you?
Ridden him one prep, we might have been his first or second run, going back in the winter of maybe last year, I think it was. So he's always been a horse that I thought might keep improving, and that was another step there today.
Yeah, the fact that he got out to the 1,800, he's going to want further, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. You know, he was a keen participant. He travelled nicely behind the speed, and Chris just said, look, if you can get off the inside, just give me. So I sort of was able to do that, and then top of the lane I was up and going and in front, but I thought I've just got to keep him going, and he should have just pricked his ears a little bit when I got in front of my own, and then when he heard the others coming, he rallied again late. So I think there's improvement to come, and he might go a bit further.
Done, Mac.
Thanks, Ta.
Cardone didn't do a great deal first up at Warwick Farm, but it wasn't an ideal run in transit for him. And I know there's been some good late coin for Cardone. He trialled well prior to that first run back and has been gelded. And Fleetwood now is one of the last to move in. Fleetwood's drawn the wide gate, but it's all been about Gusto Sissimo here. A nice first up winner at Hawkesbury. Red light is on. Ready now for race 6. And they're racing. One Destiny hit the gate, running together with the favourite Gusto Sissimo. Cardone away well into third. They're followed by Waikiki together with Consenza Unstoppable. And Fleetwood's been taken back to last. Gusto Sissimo's up on the outside of One Destiny with Cardone in a clear third. Just coursing, getting underneath One Destiny now, followed by Consenza Unstoppable. Waikiki gets back now together with Fleetwood. 600 metres to go. Gusto Sissimo in front. been very heavily backed, and Cardone's right up on the inside looking for a bit of room on the rails. One Destiny's deeper out as they turn now, and Gusto Sesamo left the fence, a length and a half clear to Cardone. Then came One Destiny, and Waikiki stoked up coming down the outside. Gustissimo kicked away here, gets 2, 3 lengths in front. Waikiki looks to be the principal danger with Fleetwood going through as well, but Gusto Sesamo going well in the lead. Fleetwood now goes to second. Gusto Sesamo led pretty much all the way and eased down and got a pat on the neck for his trouble. Fleetwood second, Waikiki third, then Unstoppable from One Destiny. Cardone weakened out. Consenza couldn't pick his legs up at the finish, tailed off.
Gustosissimo, that was easy work, wasn't it? Out to $2.60 on the NOP. It's closed at even money on the tote. But those who backed this horse last start and doubled down again today are very happy with themselves. Gerald Ryan and Sterling Alexiou get a win, and Brett Preble does the steering. Nice win. Fleetwood has made some good ground there. First up, could be an improver, especially given his behaviour pre-race. He might be one that can really go from this and build into the prep. The 4, Waikiki, will ultimately run third, and the 7, One Destiny, looked to just grab that 4th spot first up from a break today. But there was a gap between first and second there. Gustosissimo has gone from strength to strength. Bradley?
He's a lovely horse, isn't he? Now 2 wins from 5 starts, and he's gone back to back. So the gelding operation's done the trick with him. I like the fact that he's got that tactical speed. He can bounce out and make his own luck. And I thought he did a good job there, because Cardone punched up to keep him a little bit awkwardly placed. He was kind of 2 and 3 wide throughout. And you thought that when he hits the front here, he's going to be left in front a long way from home and just be left a sitting shot. But to his credit, he kept fighting and he was always in control. Waikiki looked to loom in the race and just died on her run that last little bit. Fleetwood was the eye catcher coming from back in the field to run on into second. That'll top him off nicely for next time, especially given his pre-race antics. He'll strip that little bit fitter the next time we see him. And One Destiny kept waking away at the finish, and being first up, there's some improvement there. But Gustosissimo, pretty dominant at the finish. He's a flashy horse and he's a nice one at that.
Yeah, I think the expectations were always high. I debuted in that Pago, and that was a race that was littered with good horses, Shinzo ultimately taking it out. But this prep, geez, that's a nice backup from what was a fantastic first-up win.
Yeah, we've always had a really good opinion of him. Like you said, we ran him first up in the Pago, and he's a colt. He's a nervous colt. Used to run 2 races in the one day. So when he went out, Mr. Chung agreed to geld him, and he's come back and he's been really good. He's settled heaps, and I thought he looked enormous in the Mountain Yard today, and it was good. It's good to see.
Do you feel as though you can build from here? Are there any sort of Saturday targets that you could eye off?
Well, we'll get to this race today. You know, we were nearly toiling the idea of running him in the Brian Crowley. And we thought, I just might need a bit more education in that too, but he's done a bit of work there today. Brent reckons, each time he's ridden him, he reckons he'd run 1,400 metres, but he's just got to learn to settle a bit better before we start doing that. But we'll just decide with what we do with him.
Is he an out-and-out leader going forward, or do you think he's one that could take a sit and capitalise?
I reckon he could. He did in his trial. He does on the track at home. But today, drawing where he drew today was the best barrier for him, because you didn't have to hassle him too much early, and then had to do a bit of work mid-race, and he was strong to the line.
All right, well done. Good day for the team.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks to Gerald. Shani, let's get over to you with Brett Preble.
The maiden win at Hawkesbury was impressive, but did you feel that was even more impressive today?
Yeah, he actually did. Probably did a little bit more wrong today. There was more sort of things he had to sort of overcome. He's raw, he's still having a good look at everything, and what I love about him, he's got a really lovely action and very economical in his stride, so I think he'll get a little bit further too, but he's not finished. He's not finished in his mind yet neither. You know, he could go the other way, get a bit heightened, a bit revvy, but his last 2 runs, we've just treated him with kid gloves a bit, and I think he's really appreciating that. He'll climb the ladder, and he's going to be a really nice horse, but not just straight away.
Gerald was saying that drawing out there was probably the best thing for him, because he could sort of find his gears and just, you know, make his way to the front under his terms.
Yeah, as I said earlier, he's got that really big stride, so it just took him a while to just get his momentum up. I'd love to sort of got over the rail a bit nicer and smoother, but I couldn't. So he sort of just floated out there on that 3 wide line, did it on his own, asked him to go up the straight on his own, he did it. But as I said, there's plenty of upside.
Well done.
Thanks.
little while now. A moody mare. Now, the boys aren't giving up here on her. They're pushing and shoving. They've got her in by the looks of it. Right. The 200-to-1 shots loaded in. Mandalon Missile. The lights on and we're ready to go. Shadows of Love, our last race favourite. Stand by for a start. Straightening the heads and the gates. Set now. And they're off and racing. And Julian Rock began quite well, together with the favourite Shadows of Love. Cloudlands right there. Now Sun Tzu strides up out deep. Then came It Had to Be Zoo from Diamond Model, and Julian Rock was snagged out of that battle. Lavish Empire settles in the second half from Pure Hydra and Growler. Mandalon Missiles last of all. Sun Tzu got across from the wide gate to lead the favourite now, Shadows of Love. Cloudland a bit keen in third, a length and a half, It Had to Be Zoo. Then came Diamond Model from Julian Rock. 3 lengths for the back to Lavish Empire. Pure Hydra in its inside. And the last two, Growl and Mandalon Missile. 600 to go. Sun Tzu a length clear. From Shadows of Love's the favourite stalking. Then Cloudland. It Had to Be Zoo peeling 3 wide from Diamond Model. Still well back is Lavish Empire. Third last as they straighten up now. And it's Sun Tzu the leader. From Shadows of Love. It Had to Be Zoo. Cloudland getting a gap than Diamond Model. And wider out Lavish Empire. 200 metres to go. Shadows of Love got to the front. It's not really quickening away, Shadows of Love, but it's still in front. From Lavish Empire coming hard the outside. Cloudland the inside. Cloudland going to Shadows of Love. Cloudland, Shadows of Love, Cloudland. Cloudland finished best. Just knocked off Shadows of Love. Photo for third, Diamond Model and Lavish Empire. Then came Pure Hydrogen from It Had to Be Zoo. Further back to Sun Tzu. Then Julian Rock. Growl never a factor, nor the roughy Mandalon Missile.
Cloudland had a magnificent run in transit. They jumped really well, probably had the option to lead. In the end, they decided to take a sit, sat behind the leading pair. They were able to get up underneath Shadows of Love with a couple of 100 metres to go and just proved that little bit too strong late. Shadows of Love lost absolutely no admirers, sat outside the leader and was so brave late. And it's pretty close for the Miners there, the 8 and the 2 in that photo. Diamond Model on the inside, the 2 Lavish Empire on the outside, heads up, heads down, and that is near on a dead heat for third, Bradley, but 4.10 in a photo.
Yeah, the first up, Bleeder Theory, salutes again, doesn't it? Very short on the totes, $6.50 there. So, yeah, it was yo-yoing in price. Its backers were on a wild ride there as far as where he was going to land as far as a starting price, but it doesn't matter now. It gets the cash, given a lovely ride, as you say, by Dylan Gibbons. In behind the speed, they settled down to really fight it out, Cloudland and Shadows of Love, and he just had too much firepower over that last little bit. As you'd expect, given he's a horse that will get out to probably 1,400 metres the next time we see him. So she had her chance. Shadows of Love, you just would have liked to have seen her quicken a little bit better. But that'll top her off nicely. No excuses now. Third up, maybe comes back to her own sex. Bit of a busy finish. You can see Diamond Model got a little bit tight there crossing the line. She's raced well and there's a win around the corner for her. A new pickup for Mark Minavini and Lavish Empire. That's him, isn't it? He gets back, he needs luck, and he was doing his best work through the line. Typical of Lavish Empire. But he's a pretty lightly raced 5-year-old, Cloudland, and the best is still well and truly ahead of him.
Absolutely. He was strong late, wasn't he? Gibbons and Leeds, we've seen that partnership a few times. Dylan there with a nice ride and managed to get up underneath the favourite. That must have pleased you?
Yeah, very good ride from Dylan. Good to see the horse return in good order. He's a horse that we've always had a bit of time for. He's had a few little issues along the way and then he had an enforced layoff, so it was good to see him bounce back. We think he's a genuine Saturday horse and I think he'll prove that in the coming months.
Can you shed a little bit of light on some of those dramas along the way?
Well, his first race start, he ran off the track at Muswellbrook and give Aaron Bullock a really tough time, so we give him a long time off from then. And then unfortunately, his most recent run before today, he bled, so he had another enforced layoff. So owner's been very patient, so I'm very thankful to ATI and the team. And I think they've got a nice horse in their hands once we find out a few of his traits.
Okay, let's hope we see him winning on a Saturday soon. Well done.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you to Chris Lees there. No confirmation of third place yet, Shani. It did look exceptionally tight. 4.10 in a photo still. Over to you.
Dylan, this horse obviously he's ironed out those early manner issues that he had early on, but there was a bit of intent in that trial and he was ready to go today.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, Chris done a very good job with him. He was no shortage of being easy to work with early days, and he's gone to the point even I'm happy to ride him. So, look, the best part about this horse is, like you said in his trials, there's a bit of intent, but majority of that intent come from him. Every time a horse come to him, he was a fierce competitor and wanted to win his trials. So come in today knowing that he'd want to win and just needed a bit of luck early.
How much is left in the tank ability-wise going forward now?
Oh, heaps, because on straightening I actually thought I had Tommy on toast, and for a bit there I thought, oh, I'm not going to get to him, but eventually got there and sort of won dominantly in the end. So I think he's got heaps of improvement, just like the way he's going.
Well done.
Thank you.